Hello everyone and welcome to Metagame Mastery. Today we're going over Dominaria Limited Archetypes. This time we're doing Wizard Tribal Spellbook. If you enjoy our content, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Big time! Go time! Let's go! First up, we have Adeliz the Cinder Wind, kind of the paragon of this deck. She's 3 CMC, 1 colorless, blue-red, 2/2 legendary human wizard with flying and haste. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, wizards you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So our goal, of course, is to flood the board with wizards, get value from them being on the battlefield, and then cast as many instants and sorceries as possible. This is going to be a very spells matter deck. First up is Gitu Lava Runner. He's 1 red mana for a 1/2 human wizard. As long as there are 2 or more instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard, he gets +1/+0 and has haste. The reason why this is going to be an absolute cornerstone of the deck is because it's only 1 red mana. And as you'll see as we go through these cards, many of them have a cost reduction based off of you already having a wizard on the board. You could drop this guy first turn and enable all the rest of your synergies for the rest of the game. So very important pickup. That his additional abilities are just bonus. If you happen to top deck this late game, he's still relevant. But very important pickup because you want to drop this turn 1. Wizard's Lightning is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a red for an instant. It costs 2 colorless less if you control a wizard. See? My point exactly. And it deals 3 damage to any target. So if you have nothing on board, this is 3 mana for 3 damage to any target. But if you have a wizard in play, and our goal is to always have at least 1 wizard on the board, then this is a lightning bolt. Lightning bolts are good. Wizard's Retort is 3 CMC, 1 colorless, blue for an instant that costs 1 colorless less if you control a wizard, counter target spell. So worst case scenario, this is a cancel. But best case scenario, if you have a wizard on the board, this becomes a counter spell, which, by the way, is good. Academy Journey Mage is 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a blue for a 3/2 human wizard. He costs 1 less if you control a wizard, so you could drop him for only 4 mana if you already have something on the field. When he enters the battlefield, return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand, and on top of that, you're getting a 3/2 body on the board. These type of spells are super important and limited, swinging the tempo in your advantage, getting removal, and at the same time, building up your board state. Firefist Adept is 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a red for a 3/3 human wizard. When he enters the battlefield, he deals X damage to target creature an opponent controls, where X is the number of wizards you control. This guy is a great reward for you going wide, but at minimum, he's dealing 1 damage because he's already on the battlefield. So he's getting removal based off of how much you have on the board as it is, and then on top of that, you're getting a 3/3. That's a lot of value. That's a great 2-for-1. Merfolk Trickster is 2 blue mana for a 2/2 Merfolk Wizard with Flash. When he enters the battlefield, tap target creature and opponent controls. It loses all abilities until end of turn. Great tempo play here. Not only being able to flash into play, tap down an opponent's strongest attacker on their turn, or even being able to block as a surprise blocker, but specifically being able to tap down an opponent's potential blocker to change the combat math, or just negate a specific ability that is keeping you from being able to go off. Very solid card here. Gitu Journey Mage is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a red for a 3/2 human wizard. When it enters the battlefield, if you control another wizard, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. So this is a good value. If you have something on board, this is a board presence plus a shock. And all these enter the battlefield effects become even more powerful if you happen to pick up Naban, Dean of Iteration. He's 2 CMC, 1 colorless, and a blue for a 2/1 legendary human wizard. If a wizard entering the battlefield under your control causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So being able to double up abilities with Naban makes this deck even more bonkers. Naru Meha Master Wizard is 4 CMC, 2 colorless, blue for a 3/3 legendary human wizard with flash. When she enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Other wizards you control get +1/+1. So she's a wizard lord, makes her a natural for this deck, but she's also great with our spells matter strategy, allowing us to double up effects, especially late game when we have the extra mana. Jaya Ballard plays very, very well with this strategy. If you happen to pick one up, this is where she does the best. She's 2 colorless mana, red for a legendary planeswalker with a starting loyalty of 5, and she has a +1 ability. Add 3 red to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast instant or sorcery spells. So naturally, she's going for a spells matter strategy. She also has a +1, discard up to 3 cards, then draw that many cards, allowing you to filter your hand and get additional card selection. And then her -8 is you get an emblem. You may cast an instant or sorcery cards from your graveyard. If a card cast this way, we'd be put it to your graveyard, exile it instead. Basically getting you a permanent Past in Flames. Very powerful, perfect for this build. If you happen to see her, snatch her up. Gilded Lotus is also very strong, and anything where you're looking to hold up additional mana for control magic and instants. It's 5 colorless mana for an artifact. You can tap it to add 3 mana of any color to your mana pool. That mana acceleration is super important, and it gives you the ability to cast multiple instants as well as staying on curve with your wizards. Medallion Arcanist is much along the same lines. He's 2 CMC, 1 colorless, and a blue for a 1/3 Merfolk Wizard. You can tap him to add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast an instant or sorcery spell. Once again, ramping you up so that you can cast instants while still staying generally on curve with your wizards. Precognition Field is 4 CMC, 3 colorless, and a blue for an enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library. You do not have to reveal it. Very important. You may cast the top card of your library if it's an instant or sorcery card. You can also pay 3 colorless, exile the top card of your library. So this does a lot in a small package. First of all, the value of having this on the board and being able to leave mana up for your instants will make your opponents play around potential counter spells that you always have the ability to bluff, which is going to throw them off tempo most of the time. Not to mention, you have the ability to dump any excess mana at the end of turn to filter your next draw. Make sure you draw into something advantageous. So this is very powerful in a spells matter strategy. The Mirari Conjecture is 5 CMC, 4 colorless, and a blue for an Enchantment Saga. On the first lore counter, return target instant card from your graveyard to your hand. On the second, return target sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. And on the third, until end of turn, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. This is very powerful on this deck. Not only replacing itself immediately, but the turn after, you get card advantage. And then the turn after that, you get to copy any instants or sorceries you play at no additional mana cost that turn, allowing you to really, really go off. D2 Chronicler could also work in this. It's not the best card, but it does technically fit the criteria. It's a 2 CMC, 1 colorless, and a red, 1/3 human wizard with a kicker cost of 3 colorless and a red. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So early game, this could help enable your strategy just by getting a wizard on the board. It also blocks pretty well, so it can stall the game a little bit. But late game, if you happen to draw into this and you have the excess mana, you can get the value of recurring a spell back into your hand. Sorcerer's Wand takes stud cards like that previous one once they're already in play and gives them serious value. Not to mention the Harry Potter fans have to be going nuts. It's a 1 colorless mana artifact equipment with an equip cost of 3. Equipped creature has tap. This creature deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. If this creature is a wizard, it deals 2 damage to that player or planeswalker instead, turning whatever dud board presence you have into a repeatable shock on a stick. Very powerful. Also, you get to take advantage of the great instants and sorceries that are in this set. Like, for example, Opt, instant, scry 1, draw a card with amazing new art. Divination is perfect in this deck. It's 3 mana, 2 colorless, and a blue sorcery, draw 2 cards, because you're going to have card advantage in order to make a control strategy work. Unwind is 3 CMC, 2 colorless, and a blue for an instant, counter up target non-creature spell, untap up to 3 lands. It's effectively free. That's beautiful in this type of strategy. Syncopate is X and a blue instant, counter target spell unless its controller pays X. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. So much value here. This is going to be absolutely perfect in this deck. Lastly, this is a bit of a stretch if you do happen to draw into a Karn's Temporal Sundering in your limited pool. This is the best strategy to use it in. It's 6 mana, 4 colorless, blue for a legendary sorcery. Target player takes an extra turn after this one. Return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Exile Karn's Temporal Sundering, obviously allowing you to bounce something. Typically, the secret tech is you typically want to bounce something of your own back to your hand. A great example is using Naru Meha to double up on this, getting multiple extra turns. So there's a lot of potential power here. It's a great card. And if the Professor's preview card is going to see play anywhere, Tolarian Scholar is at least a wizard. He can act as filler in case you need a 23rd. Well, that's it for today. If you enjoy our content, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. This has been Metagame Mastery. Peace!